Victoria ordered my transfer to a branch company in another city. Being around every day does get a bit annoying. That's what she told others. The accumulated disappointment peaked at this moment. I suddenly thought about letting myself off the hook. I complied with the transfer order and silently left. After getting used to living alone, Victoria, however, relentlessly kept coming to visit me. She said that now she understood what it feels like to miss someone. Chapter 1. From the moment I entered the company gate in the morning, everyone I encountered congratulated me. When I entered the office, my mentor, Paul, the company's design director, patted me on the shoulder and gave me an encouraging look. "Henry, you'll be working alone from now on. Good luck. I believe in your abilities." I was confused. "What are you talking about, Master? Didn't you see the announcement in the company group? It was posted this morning." Paul looked surprised. "Was it sent this morning?" "I was driving and didn't check my phone," I said as I turned on my phone screen. I zoomed in on the announcement image and read its contents word by word. It was as if I had been frozen in place, unable to move. "Henry, you just found out about this transfer. Didn't CEO Lee discuss it with you before finalizing it?" Paul's voice brought me back to my senses. I awkwardly forced a smile, pulling at the corner of my lips. "Oh, she mentioned it briefly before. I wasn't paying attention at the time since I was busy." I instinctively tried to cover for Victoria, protecting my fragile pride. In fact, I only found out about this just now. What I didn't know was that the person Victoria had initially chosen for the transfer was another experienced designer from our department. I had no idea why she suddenly chose me instead. I was a senior designer in the headquarters RD department and also Victoria's boyfriend. Without consulting me, she unilaterally issued the transfer notice, assigning me to the branch company in the neighboring city as the design director, though it was a promotion. And from a long-term perspective, it was a rare opportunity for career development. This was not in line with the company's transfer procedures, for both professional and personal reasons. Victoria owed me an explanation, but I couldn't get in touch with her. All day long, I couldn't get through to her on the phone. Her assistant just politely brushed me off. "CEO Lee is on a business trip. She specifically instructed that her itinerary is confidential." "I'm sorry, Designer Henry, but as her subordinate, I can only follow orders. I can't reach her right now, but don't worry. As soon as I get in touch with her, I'll report that you're looking for her." This practiced excuse felt like a tactic used to deal with the small-time bosses who were seeking Victoria's help. I understood now. Victoria was avoiding me. Chapter 2. Victoria knew that once she issued this transfer notice, I would definitely come to find her. Maybe she hadn't figured out how to explain it, or perhaps she simply couldn't be bothered to deal with me and decided to hide away. After work, I stumbled home in a daze, but then, I received a call from a close friend, who said he had seen Victoria at a new club that his relative had opened. "Could you do me a favor and ask that relative where Victoria is? Which room she's in? Thanks." After hanging up, I quickly hopped into a taxi and rushed to the club. On the way there, my friend sent me the name of Victoria's room. Standing at the door of the room, I took a deep breath, grasped the doorknob, and gently turned it. As soon as I opened the door a crack, I clearly heard voices inside. "You really transferred Henry to the C-City branch?" It was Victoria's best friend from childhood, Patricia, also a small shareholder of our company. Victoria sounded indifferent. "I'm not saying this, but you two have known each other since childhood. Now you'll be separated by distance. Can you really stand it?" Victoria fell silent for a moment, then replied in a casual tone. "Having him around every day has become a bit annoying." My left hand, which was gripping the doorknob, suddenly tightened. "What if he doesn't agree? Aren't you afraid he'll come find you and cause a scene? The branch needs someone. He's not the type of person who can't see the bigger picture. Even if he can't find me, he'll still report to the office on Monday," Victoria said lightly, but with certainty. I gave a bitter smile. Should I be moved that she knows me so well? The director of the C-City branch had recently been poached by a competitor at a high price, leaving behind a mess that needed to be cleaned up. Even though I couldn't reach Victoria these past few days and had no explanation from her, I was indeed planning to report to the branch on Monday. She was right. My sense of responsibility wouldn't allow me to ignore the chaos in the branch's design department. They couldn't afford to wait. I thought to myself, if I really couldn't find her, I'd just go there and hold the fort. Later, once a suitable person was found, they could bring me back. Aside from me, the one who just wanted to stay by Victoria's side, I'm sure other designers wouldn't turn down such a promotion. But when I heard her say, "It's become a bit annoying," suddenly, I felt like I lost all courage to keep pursuing her. These past 2 years, I had sensed that Victoria was growing increasingly impatient with me, but I had only been slightly disappointed, reassuring myself that even the hottest love would eventually cool down, and that was normal. After all, we'd been together for so long. No one can stay passionately in love, full of energy, forever. But now, without warning, I felt deflated. Perhaps it was because the accumulated disappointment had finally reached its peak at this moment. I suddenly wanted to let myself off the hook. I didn't want to keep finding excuses for her anymore. I couldn't keep deceiving myself. I had to face the reality. Victoria didn't love me anymore. She was tired of our relationship. Chapter 3. In the end, I didn't enter that private room. What more explanation did I need? I didn't want to humiliate myself. My left hand, which had been gripping the doorknob, dropped, and I turned to leave. The next few days, I was swamped. I was busy handing over my work, completing all kinds of procedures. I was busy packing my bags, buying daily necessities, and sending parcels. Although the Sea City branch wasn't large, it was in a growth phase, offering plenty of opportunities to make a name for myself. I thought to myself, I might be staying there for a long time. Perhaps I'd end up settling there. I had to think things through and make sure I had everything prepared. On Sunday, I drove to Sea City alone. On Monday morning, I reported to the company on time. From there, I threw myself into work, overwhelmed by the tasks at hand. The mess left behind by the former director's sudden departure was enough to keep me busy without any time to think about anything else. When I finally got everything in order, over a month had passed. That's when I realized I hadn't contacted Victoria in over a month. In the past, this would have been unimaginable to me, but now that it had actually happened, it didn't seem like such a big deal. Once, I couldn't bear to be apart from Victoria for a second, wishing I could always be by her side. Now, after more than a month without contact, I went on with my life every day, without any discomfort. Not even insomnia had bothered me. What was even more surprising was that during this time, I rarely even thought about her. Chapter 4. Finally, all the work on my plate was sorted, and I could finally catch my breath. That night, I invited my colleagues from the department out for a dinner. One of my colleagues, who frequently needed to communicate with headquarters, shared a piece of news with me. I heard the administrative department at headquarters brought in a manager from outside. Quite an impressive one. What's his name again? Right, Claude. When he came in, CEO Lee personally escorted him into the company. Claude. I froze for a moment. It had been a long time since I heard that name. No wonder. I let out a faint laugh. The answer I had been waiting for had become clear at this moment. CEO Lee personally brought him into the company. That's quite a big deal. How old is this Claude manager? Is he good looking? The young girls in the department began gossiping. He's probably around CEO Lee's age. Looks like a male model. Could he be CEO Lee's boyfriend? I'm not sure, but I think I've heard that CEO Lee has a stable boyfriend. Really? By the way, CEO Henry, you've been working at headquarters. Have you met CEO Lee's boyfriend? A few pairs of eyes turned toward me, brimming with curiosity. I feigned ignorance. I'm not really sure, but I think you and CEO Lee are a perfect match. Handsome guy, beautiful woman. That photo of you two together is so eye-catching. I still have it saved, one of my female colleagues said unexpectedly. Everyone was astonished. What? You and CEO Lee have a photo together? It wasn't just the two of you. There were others in the photo, but you two were the most prominent. I saw it while browsing the company's WeChat account. Since you two looked so pleasant to the eye, I, being a fan of good looks, saved it. She pulled out her phone and found the photo to show everyone. Everyone leaned in to get a better look. It looks like CEO Lee is leaning towards CEO Henry. They really look perfect together. Right. I've secretly shipped them as a couple before. I glanced at the photo and immediately remembered when it had been taken. 3 years ago, right after I joined the company, coinciding with the new product launch event. At that time, it was my request that Victoria Lee kept our relationship a secret. Office relationships were hard to avoid gossiping about, especially since Victoria Lee was the company's CEO. I didn't want to become the subject of office gossip. Victoria wasn't happy about it for a while. She said she couldn't openly come to find me at the office. Even couldn't have lunch together. It felt like we were hiding a secret relationship. At that launch event, the media came to take photos. The designers from our R&D department were lined up, and Victoria walked over last. However, she intentionally didn't stand in the center, but instead stood next to me as if by accident. Paul tried to pull her into the center, but she refused, saying, "You're the biggest contributor to today's launch. You should be standing in the center as the star of the show." She also deliberately leaned her body toward me. I lowered my head and quietly shifted to the side. Suddenly, the hand I had behind my back was grabbed. I froze, looking at her. She, however, acted completely serious, smiling for the camera with a perfectly practiced business smile. No one knew that the great CEO Lee, while posing for the camera, was secretly holding onto the hand of the man beside her. And so, the photo was taken, later published on the company's WeChat account. Looking back now, I admit, I could feel it. Victoria did love me. It was just that time, though seemingly uneventful, had a powerful effect. It could make love fade, and eventually, disappear. Chapter 5. For the past few days, I've seen Victoria updating her posts regularly. She was either out horseback riding and rock climbing with friends, or living it up at a club, lost in indulgence. It seemed that without me by her side, she was living carefree. In every single photo, without exception, I could spot Claude's figure. Victoria had always been private about her life, rarely updating her posts. I wondered if it was Claude's presence that had changed her, sparking her desire to express herself, but honestly, I wasn't interested in any of that anymore. Now, all I could think about were the new product design proposals, the photos in those posts. I just glanced at them before moving on. That evening, after work, I was still in the office, revising a set of design drafts. The phone rang. Seeing the name on the screen, I froze for a moment. It was Victoria, who hadn't contacted me in over a month. As soon as I answered, her familiar, cool voice came through the receiver, followed by a light laugh. "Baby, still mad at me?" I stood by the office's floor-to-ceiling window, looking out at the lights below, feeling a strange sense of calm inside. "Even though it's been more than a month, you transferred me without consulting me. Don't you owe me an explanation?" "Well, I just wanted to give you a better opportunity for development. I know you didn't want to leave me. If I had asked you, you definitely would have refused. So you just went ahead and made the decision without me." "Victoria, you should know, this completely goes against the company's personnel procedures. If it were someone else, they might have just walked away. You're only taking advantage of my reluctance and sense of responsibility." "Henry, I was wrong, but I really did this for your own good. I've seen the achievements you've made at the company over the years. You're capable and talented, and you're more than ready to stand on your own. You've been at the headquarters for 3 years now. You've accumulated enough experience. What you're missing is a platform where you can truly showcase your abilities. The design department at the branch is the stepping stone I'm giving you to jump to a higher level." She was really good with her words. If I hadn't heard her say that having you around every day is really a bit annoying, I might have believed her. I might have even been moved by her well-meaning intention, and started questioning whether I had been too unreasonable. "Is it because of Claude? As soon as he came back, you transferred me," I said bluntly. What? What does Claude have to do with this? What I'm saying is," her words were interrupted by a male voice. "Victoria, could I ride with you and go together?" Even though it had been years, and even though it was over the phone, I could still tell it was Claude's voice. "Are you going to dinner together?" I asked. "Why?" I hung up the phone directly. After thinking for a moment, I sent her a message on WeChat. "Let's break up." Chapter 6. After I got home and took a shower, I picked up my phone and saw dozens of missed calls. All of them were from Victoria. Just as I was in a daze, the phone rang again. "Henry, what do you mean by this? I've made myself clear. Let's break up. Not consulting you before transferring you was my mistake, and I apologize. But I really did this for your own good. You can ask your dad and your brother. Becoming the design director at the branch, isn't that a great opportunity for growth? Is it really for my good, or for your own?" I sneered. "Why would you say that?" That night, I was outside the private room at the club. "I heard what you said." I repeated her words verbatim. "Having you around every day, it's really a bit annoying." "Henry, listen to me." That night, I had a bit to drink, and I misspoke. "That's not what I really think." "Isn't it true that alcohol brings out the truth?" I interrupted. "It's not like that. It's not just because of that one sentence." My tone was flat. "I can clearly feel the change in your attitude toward me over the past 2 years. Victoria, admit it, you're tired of me. You've grown frustrated, and you no longer want me around. I've left, just as you wanted. Shouldn't you be happy?" There was silence on the other end for a long time. "I won't agree to the breakup. You're just being impulsive. I'll give you some time. Let's calm down and think things through." "Henry, I'll contact you again later." It didn't matter. After all, breaking up wasn't like getting a divorce. I didn't need her approval. Chapter 7. For the next few days, Victoria's WeChat moments were filled with photos of her drunken state. I silently blocked her. Out of sight, out of mind. There had been so much to do lately. Besides the new product designs, the department had also hired 3 new colleagues. Of the previous designers, only 2 had management experience, so I assigned each of them 1 new recruit to mentor. The remaining newcomer would have to manage themselves. I sighed. Our team still lacked people, specifically capable and experienced designers. The good thing was, the newcomer I was mentoring was smart and diligent, a promising talent. Though, there was one thing: she was a bit too smooth and worldly for my taste. Ever since she called me master, every morning she brought me a cup of hand-ground coffee from the shop downstairs. One day during lunch break, with my office door open, she passed by and saw me eating a piece of bread, and she was quite surprised. "Master, you're only eating bread for lunch. I have a report that needs to be rushed out. No time to go out and eat, and I forgot to order food." I pointed at the screen. The branch office was smaller than headquarters, and didn't have an in-house cafeteria. Sometimes, when working overtime and rushing a task, I'd forget to eat, only realizing I was hungry much later. So, I'd bought a big box of bread to keep in the office. When I didn't have time or when I got hungry, I'd just quickly grab a piece to satisfy myself. "Master, wait for me," Emma said, then rushed off. 10 minutes later, she came back holding a takeout box with a fancy meal. This place was the only one with no line. "I was afraid you'd go hungry, so I rushed and got it for you. I'm not sure if it'll suit your taste, but please make do with it for now." I looked at the logo on the takeout box and was speechless. Do you know why there was Northwest Line at this place? Because it's expensive. Expensive? She genuinely questioned. Looking at her usual attire and the sports car she drove to work, I understood. She was definitely from a wealthy family. Since that day, Emma had made it a habit to order lunch for me every day. Whenever I sent her the money for the meal, she would refuse it. I know you're not short on money, but you can't be so wasteful. Your family's money didn't come from nowhere. It came from your parents' hard work, right? She smiled cheerfully. My dad said that in his generation, when a disciple took on a master, they would bow and bring gifts during holidays to show respect. You're my master. It's my duty to honor you. Ordering lunch every day isn't a big deal. My dad even thinks I'm being too frugal, and he said he'd pick out a gift for you. Don't. If you do, I won't accept you as my disciple anymore, I warned. All right. She feels quite wronged. Chapter 8. After work every day, as long as I didn't leave, Emma wouldn't leave either. My workload is heavy, so I often work overtime. You should just leave once you're done with your tasks. Our company doesn't have that rule where the leader has to stay if the subordinates don't leave. That won't do. I need to learn more too. I heard only 2 out of the 3 new recruits will stay, and I don't want to fail my probation, she said confidently. After getting to know Emma better, I found out that her family owned the largest chain of supermarkets in town. In addition, they were also involved in real estate, catering, and other industries. The meals she ordered for me every day came from her family's restaurant. Not wanting to owe her anything, every time after working overtime, I would take her out for a meal. One day, I sent my car for maintenance. After dinner, Emma insisted on driving me home. I thanked her downstairs and turned to walk toward my apartment. Just as I was about to swipe my access card at the main door, a figure suddenly appeared from the shadow beside me. I jumped, almost calling out, "Henry, it's me." Victoria's face emerged from the shadows. "What are you doing here?" "No. How do you know I live here?" I was still catching my breath, my heart racing. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you." She bit her lip. "I asked some colleagues about your address. I wanted to surprise you." I thought for a moment. "We've already broken up. Your visit isn't a surprise to me." She took a step forward and threw herself into my arms. She lifted her head, her familiar warmth filling my senses. "Who was that person just now?" She sniffled. Oh, just a new colleague from the department. I was showing them around." I pushed her away gently. "You're the director, and you still need to personally guide new recruits. There's no choice. We're short on staff. Then should I transfer some experienced designers to help you?" "Don't joke. Even the headquarters is short on designers. I heard that from Master." For a long time, she didn't say anything. Chapter 9. Finally, Victoria spoke up. "I haven't hugged you in so long. You're still the same. Just one hug, and I feel at ease. It feels so good. Without your presence at home, everything feels cold. I don't even want to go back." I post on my feed every day, pretending to be pitiful, getting drunk to the point of ending up in the hospital, and you didn't care about me. Without you around, I can't find interest in anything. Not even my favorite sport can save me. Let's stop fighting. Okay, I was wrong. I don't want to break up. I had never heard her speak like this, so fragile, with a hint of grievance and a touch of pleading. Victoria, in my memory, had always been proud and full of vigor. "Victoria, I felt it," I said, looking into her dark eyes in the night. "There was a time when you considered leaving me. You don't love me anymore." She panicked. "No, that was just a momentary misconception, I thought." Her voice trailed off. "I thought I was tired of it, that we had been together too long. Long enough for me to forget that we were even in a relationship. Yes, we had been childhood sweethearts, living next door to each other. Before we even learned to walk, we were placed on the same mat to crawl. From kindergarten through elementary, middle school, high school, and college, we attended the same schools. We even went to the same university for our graduate studies. All these years, we had never been apart. It suddenly dawned on me. Up until now, my life had been intertwined with Victoria's. Even when living with my own parents, there would be friction from time to time. How could it be any different with a lover, with no binding relationship? So, after reconciling with myself, I understood what Victoria meant by being tired of it. Feelings are uncontrollable. I can't force her to love me forever, to never change her mind. I can't guarantee that I would be able to do that myself. How could I expect her to? You said it yourself. We've just been together too long. Now that we've broken up, you're still getting used to it. In time, you'll get used to it. It's not like that. I know my own heart. Let's leave it like this. Don't come looking for me again." I opened the door, stepped out calmly, and closed it behind me. "Henry," her voice came from behind me. "I miss you. I really miss you." I didn't stop, walking straight ahead. Chapter 10. Victoria seemed to have more free time lately. Every few days, she would drive over to the city. She claimed it was for inspecting the branch's work. Whenever she arrived, the company would organize a meeting, and department heads would report to her. One time, after the meeting, everyone left, but she stayed in the conference room without moving. "Henry," the director, she called out as I was about to leave, stopping the last person. Could you do me a favor and bring me a cup of coffee? She was rubbing her temples, looking exhausted, and her voice was raspy. Sure, I replied. I brought the coffee from the kitchenette and stood at the door of the conference room, stunned. Victoria was leaning against the office chair, her eyes closed, breathing slowly. She had fallen asleep. I gently opened the door and placed the coffee on the table. As I was about to quietly leave, I heard her voice from behind. Thank you. I turned around. You look really tired. Did you not get any rest? She chuckled softly. Are you concerned about me? Yesterday, I stayed up all night for the new business in the Middle East. This morning, I drove for over 2 hours just to come to this meeting. I thought for a moment and said sincerely, honestly, with a general manager at the branch, you don't need to be doing everything yourself. Like today's pre-bid discussion meeting, you didn't need to come in person. Why make things so hard on yourself? Because seeing you is worth it, she said softly. I was momentarily at a loss for words. Well, I hesitated. You're not in the best condition right now. Shouldn't you go back to the hotel and rest? She shook her head. No time. I have to head back to City A. My flight is at 9 tonight. I'm flying to the Middle East for a business trip, probably for 10 days or so. Knowing I won't see you for so long, I made the trip today just to see you for a moment. It'll comfort me for the next 10 days. I sighed. Why bother? Chapter 11. Half a month later, Victoria returned. Her plane landed at City A's airport, and instead of going home, she went straight to City C. When she arrived at the company, it was noon. Emma and I were eating lunch on the company's terrace. We were chatting and laughing, but her sudden appearance interrupted us. CEO Lee. Emma immediately stood up, glancing between Victoria Lee and me. I'll leave now. You two talk. That girl ran off so quickly. She even forgot to take her half-eaten food with her. Victoria sat down in front of me and remained silent for a long time. Have you eaten? I broke the silence. Even though we had broken up, she was still my boss, so I had to show some respect. She stared at the 2 identical lunch boxes on the table, the same food in each, her expression unreadable. Did you both order lunch together? After a long pause, she spoke in a dull tone. I laughed. One time, Emma saw me eating bread in the office and insisted on ordering lunch for me. This food comes from her family's restaurant, and it tastes pretty good. I turned her down, but she insisted on ordering 2 meals every day. If she didn't, she'd feel bad. She doesn't accept my payment, so after working overtime, I take her out for a late-night snack to return the favor. You still treat her to meals. Victoria's tone was a little harsh. She treated me first, so I treat her back. It's normal. Back and forth like this. Doesn't it just increase your contact with her? What are you thinking? I shot her a look. She's my disciple. She's 5 years younger than me. Just a kid in my eyes. But the way she looks at you is anything but just a kid. Victoria gritted her teeth. A woman knows another woman best. You're overthinking. Fine. Let's not talk about her. I brought you a gift. She handed me a bag. It's a gemstone watch, said to be a national treasure from a small country in the Middle East that once disappeared, and it has a lot of history. Victoria, we're not dating anymore. I stood up. I can't accept such an expensive gift. I ignored the darkness that clouded her gaze. I cleaned up the lunch boxes on the table and walked away. Chapter 12. The next day, the company issued a notice. The CEO, understanding the hard work of the branch employees and recognizing their contributions, decided to reward them by improving their benefits and adding a cafeteria to the branch. The cafeteria would offer a variety of dishes at much lower prices than outside restaurants. Everyone in the office was thrilled. All morning, colleagues discussed the news, praising CEO Lee as the wisest and most considerate leader. I couldn't help but think of the same lunchboxes I shared with Emma that day, and the displeased expression on Victoria's face. I quickly shook my head. No, it wasn't like that. Adding a cafeteria to the branch wasn't a small expense. Victoria was a competent capitalist. She wouldn't unnecessarily add such a large expense to the company just for me. She wasn't the type to let her emotions interfere with business decisions. Just as I was thinking this, Victoria's call came in. The branch's performance in C City increased significantly last year, and headquarters is discussing improving employee benefits. I suggested adding a cafeteria, and it was approved unanimously. Before I could speak, she continued explaining on her own. Now that's done, that girl won't have an excuse to order food for you anymore, and you won't have to repay her with meals. It's a win-win. Her tone was full of pride. How did I never notice that she had such a childish side? Chapter 13. On Saturday morning, I was at home catching up on sleep. Victoria's phone woke me up. Are you home today? Yeah. Why? I replied groggily. Just checking, she said, and hung up. I tried to go back to sleep but couldn't. I decided to get up, go to the supermarket, buy some ingredients, and cook myself lunch. As soon as I finished cooking, my buddy called. Guess where I am? He said mysteriously. Where? I asked casually. Open the door. Confused, I walked to the door and opened it to find a huge bouquet of sunflowers blocking the way. Surprise, my friend, with a big drunken grin on his face. popped out from behind the flowers. "What are you doing here?" I exclaimed in surprise. He raised the cake in his other hand and waved it around. "Happy birthday." It suddenly dawned on me that it was my birthday today. "Come in. I just made lunch. Let's eat together." I pulled him inside. "You can cook?" he asked, looking curious. "I always thought you were the type of rich kid who never lifted a finger." "Well, I've had to learn a bit." "Come on, taste my cooking." While we were eating, my parents called on video. They said since it was the weekend, they figured I'd be sleeping in, so they didn't want to disturb me earlier. My parents and brother wished me a happy birthday. My parents' gift was generous, they just sent money. My brother was even more extravagant, saying he bought me an apartment near the company in Sea City as a birthday gift. He joked that he was jealous and wanted me to spend the day with him to soothe his wounded soul. I laughed and agreed. I hadn't had much time to explore Sea City because I was so busy with work. This was the perfect opportunity to familiarize myself with the city. I drove my friend to the most famous local tourist spot. We had a great time exploring for hours, but when I pulled out my phone to take a photo, I realized my pocket was empty. My phone was gone. Chapter 14. I remembered checking the time on my phone just as I reached the entrance of the tourist spot. So, it was impossible for my phone to be left in the car. Either it fell, or someone stole it, my friend concluded. Either way, the chances of getting it back are slim. I nodded helplessly, resigning myself to the misfortune. "Well, we'll go to a phone store in the city center tonight. At least I spoke to my family this afternoon, so I don't think they'll call again today," I said. We spent the afternoon visiting several tourist spots, but by the time we were ready to have dinner, my friend got a call saying there was an issue at home, and he had to head back. I dropped him off at the high-speed rail station and then headed straight to a phone store. It was already evening when I bought the phone, so I decided to go to the mobile service center tomorrow to handle the SIM card. On my way home, a sudden downpour hit. I lived in a small, mini complex that didn't have a parking lot. I drove around the neighborhood for a while before finally finding a parking space. After parking, I quickly grabbed my umbrella and rushed back to my apartment. When I reached my doorstep, I saw Victoria leaning against the wall, drenched. Upon seeing me, she hurried toward me, as if trying to embrace me. When she looked down at her wet clothes, she stopped in her tracks. "Henry, where have you been? I've been calling you nonstop." "I was about to go crazy if I couldn't reach you. I was going to call the police. You said you were staying at home today, didn't you?" I sighed, seeing how disheveled she looked, and opened the door. "Go take a shower first," I said. I handed her a set of loose, comfortable clothes. From the bathroom came the sound of running water, and I sat down on the sofa, fiddling with my new phone. The bathroom door opened, and Victoria emerged in my clothes. Although the clothes fit me just fine, they were still a bit too loose on her, making her look somewhat comical. She dried her hair with a towel and sat down beside me. "What happened? Why was your phone off?" "I went out this afternoon and lost my phone. I just bought a new one, but I haven't set up the SIM card yet," I said, shaking the new phone in my hand. Victoria let out a sigh of relief. "Promise me, you won't let me not reach you again." "Do you know how worried I was when I couldn't get through to you? I couldn't help but think something happened to you. You know that," I mocked with a smirk. "What do you mean?" "On the day the headquarters announced my transfer, I couldn't get in touch with you. Every time I called, it was always busy. 4 or 5 whole days. You avoided me, didn't answer my calls or reply to my messages. Do you know how desperate I felt?" Victoria stopped drying her hair and froze, looking shocked. It seemed like she finally understood. She awkwardly looked away, avoiding my gaze. After a long pause, her tone turned apologetic. "I'm sorry. It won't happen again. I promise. Whenever you call, I'll pick up immediately." Then, her voice grew sad again. "You haven't called me once in a long time. You don't need to promise anything. We've already broken up," I reminded her. Her gaze dropped. "Henry, I waited for you for 5 hours outside. I wanted to give you a surprise for your birthday." A pity play to change the subject, I sighed. "You didn't think of finding shelter from the rain. You could have stayed in the car." "I didn't want to stay in the car. I didn't want to leave. Afraid I'd miss you when you came back. I just sat in the rain for a bit. Someone opened the gate, so I just followed her in. Unfortunately, your favorite sunflowers were ruined, and the cake can't be eaten. Luckily, the gift I got for you is in perfect condition." With that, she pulled out a set of keys. "I bought an apartment for you in Happy District. You should move there. This neighborhood isn't great, and the security is bad. Get your documents ready, and next week we'll go handle the transfer." Happy District. How convenient. I shook my head. "No need. My brother already bought me an apartment in this neighborhood." She frowned. I was too late again. Chapter 15. That night, the rain never stopped, and Victoria didn't end up leaving. I gave up my bed for her to sleep in, while I took the couch. The next morning, as I was just getting up, she was already in the kitchen, busy preparing breakfast. "You're up. Go brush your teeth and wash your face. I'll have this ready in a minute," she said while stirring the noodles. This was the first time I saw her making breakfast. To my surprise, she was actually pretty good at it. The scallion oil noodles smelled great, and I ended up eating a big bowl. She looked quite proud of herself. Not bad. If you like it, I can make it for you again sometime. After breakfast, she took the initiative to clean up the dishes. Just as she finished washing the dishes, her phone rang. Claude. Yeah, I didn't go back yesterday. I'm in C-City. Mr. Kim, today, could you explain to him that I'll treat him to dinner when I'm back tomorrow? My voice. Oh, it's nothing. I might have caught a cold. Now that it's not raining, you can go back, I said, watching her busy texting. She put her phone away, and in a slightly aggrieved tone, said, Are you trying to rush me? I'm just worried Claude might misunderstand. Misunderstand what? She stopped suddenly. You don't think there's something between me and Claude, do you? Isn't he your crush? You transferred me because of him, right? You spent the night here. Don't you think that might be hard to explain to him? Victoria stared at me in confusion. What crush? What are you talking about? I don't understand. Transferring you was a mistake on my part. I didn't know he was coming back when I made the decision. Stop pretending. You liked him back in college. Not true. Why do you have that impression? Victoria put down her phone and looked like she wanted to have a serious talk. Tell me, what have I done that made you think this way? I thought for a moment. It seemed like she never openly admitted her feelings for Claude, but at that time, I was her boyfriend. If she had admitted liking someone else, it would have meant she was being disloyal, although she never said it. Her actions weren't so subtle. I took a moment to gather my thoughts and carefully went over things. One day, I saw you in line at the back gate of the university, buying butterfly cookies. I thought they were for me and felt happy about it. But then I never received the cookies, and I saw on Claude's post that he had them. He said they were bought by someone who liked him. I still remembered the post. I wanted butterfly cookies, and she was willing to stand in line for 2 hours to buy them for me. When someone likes you, they just act so indulgently. At that time, the butterfly cookies at the back gate of the university were limited edition, and they really were good. You had to wait in line for a long time, and they were hard to get. Both Claude and Victoria were members of the student council, so they interacted quite a bit. I recalled that I had asked Victoria about it, why she bought cookies for someone else. She denied it outright, claiming I was mistaken, and she had never stood in line. Victoria furrowed her brow as she thought back. Wait, I remember now. She sat up straight. At that time, I was playing badminton with Patricia, and I lost. I had to fulfill one of her requests. She asked me to go get butterfly cookies for her. She liked Claude, so I gave the cookies to him. You helped Patricia. Then why didn't you admit it when I asked you? Well, I didn't want to admit it because I lost the game. It was embarrassing. She laughed awkwardly. You know me. I care about face. You're my boyfriend. How could I let you know that I lost to someone else? But, just that one time. After that, I always beat her. So, this misunderstanding was caused by her damn competitive streak. Chapter 16. Wait, Patricia liked Claude. How did I not know about this? Patricia was Victoria's childhood friend. Someone we'd both grown up with. She'd even gone to the same university as us. We were pretty close. She didn't just like him, she was basically his ultimate simp. Victoria scoffed. Patricia did whatever he said. When she first started chasing Claude, she even gave him a luxury watch. Claude accepted it but told her he didn't want to date anyone yet and just wanted to focus on his studies. He also said he didn't like being high profile, and didn't want to be the subject of gossip just because someone was pursuing him. That fool Patricia took his words like gospel. She even begged us not to tell anyone about it. She chased him in secret, sending him gifts day after day, and he accepted everything but never agreed to date her. Claude said he wouldn't date during school, so she thought she'd have a chance after graduation. But before she knew it, he went abroad. Later, I found out that while Claude was overseas, Patricia even wired him a lot of money. Even simps would have to call her their master. Victoria sneered. I thought back and suddenly realized something. I get it now. Patricia liked Claude, but Claude liked you. Victoria looked shocked, her voice rising. That's impossible. Back then, when I suspected you liked him, that wasn't the only reason. For a while, you changed your phone wallpaper. I accidentally saw Claude's phone screen and noticed you two had matching wallpapers. You mean that dumb anime wallpaper? Didn't I explain that? It was one of Patricia's pranks. She secretly changed all our dorm phones to that silly wallpaper. I never change my wallpaper because I'm too lazy, so I just left it. Later, when you told me to change it, didn't I switch it right away? I nodded. So that was Patricia too. But what if it was actually Claude who put her up to it? After you changed your wallpaper, Claude changed his to match yours and deliberately showed his phone in front of me so I'd misunderstand. Victoria froze. I continued analyzing, and about that butterfly cookie post, when I went to confront you about it, you denied buying it and said you hadn't seen Claude's post. Then I reopened WeChat and the post was gone. I thought he deleted it. So did you really not see it? Or did you see it and just deny it out of guilt? I really didn't see it, she said firmly. I remember you don't post much yourself, but you like scrolling through posts. If you didn't see it, that can only mean Claude restricted the audience. He said it so only I could see that post. You make it sound very convincing, Victoria said slowly, nodding. So this time Claude joining the company, was that Patricia again? It really was Patricia's recommendation. I swear, You know she has some shares in the group. She's my childhood friend. She came to me and asked me to give Claude a position. I couldn't refuse. Suddenly Victoria's eyes widened. Realization dawning. Lately, I've been seeing Claude a lot, but it's always because Patricia invites me and he tags along. He's always trying to chat with me. A few times I even got impatient. He stares at me so intently. I get it now. He knows you transferred me. He probably learned about our breakup from Patricia. He's trying to swoop in while we're apart. Henry, you have to believe me. I haven't been tempted by him. I haven't even been alone with him once. My tone was calm. Whether I believe you or not doesn't matter. We've broken up, haven't we? Not this again. Go back. If you don't leave, I'll go stay in a hotel. Chapter 17. On Monday morning, as soon as I arrived at the office, I received a message from Victoria. I've fired Claude. I'm not giving him any chance to get close to me. I also scolded Patricia. She's an idiot, and she dragged me into this. Henry, I'm not interested in any other men. I put down my phone and continued working. Not replying to Victoria didn't stop her enthusiasm. She messaged me every day, occasionally sending a joke, and even took pictures of strange clouds to show me. By the evening, she'd give a detailed report of everything she did that day, what she ate, what she did, and where she went. And she always ended with, I'm home before 10 p.m., early to bed, early to rise, and checking off another day. Looking at these messages, I could only feel helpless. There was a time when I'd try every trick to get Victoria to sleep and wake up early. She used to stay up late drinking and had even been hospitalized for liver and stomach issues. The doctor told her she needed to take care of her health, but she never took my advice to heart. I pleaded with her, but she wouldn't listen. Eventually, I got angry and directly ordered her to be home by 10 p.m. every night. To this day, I still remember the look she gave me when I said that, half smile, half mockery, as if laughing at my self-importance. You're what to me? What right do you have to tell me what to do? Though she never said the words out loud, I understood the meaning behind them. At that time, my love for her hadn't faded. When I saw that look, my first reaction was pain. Then, out of instinct, I didn't want to upset her, so I stopped using the commanding tone around her. She continued to live freely, staying out late, partying with friends at clubs until the early hours. She was free, going wherever she wanted, without having to report her whereabouts to anyone. Over the past 2 years, she had slowly stopped taking my words to heart, stopped caring about my feelings. I had only ever been in a relationship with her, so I didn't know how other couples interacted. When I first noticed her attitude growing cold, I panicked. I was afraid she didn't love me anymore, but after being ignored and treated coldly day after day, even facing emotional neglect, I didn't realize when it happened, but my love for her began to fade too, until it was completely gone. I no longer loved her. I decided to break up. Now, after I've left her, she suddenly remembers my old advice, and she starts following it, sleeping early, waking up early, just like I used to ask her to, but a wounded heart can't heal. This belated affection can't move me anymore. Chapter 18. On Friday night, I stayed late at the office again. I was trying to finish everything so I could take the weekend to visit my parents in City A. By the time I finished, it was almost 9 p.m. I shut down my computer and turned off the lights. As I walked out, Emma had just finished packing up. She stood up. Master, let's go together. I didn't know if it was from all the late nights, but my head felt dizzy. As I was walking down the stairs outside the building, I stepped on a small piece of watermelon rind, and suddenly, the world spun around me. Luckily, Emma caught me in time, preventing me from tumbling down the stairs, but I couldn't avoid injuring my ankle. A sharp pain shot through my leg. Emma took me to the hospital. The doctor said it was a mild fracture, and I would need a cast. My plans to go home were ruined. I didn't want to worry my parents, so I didn't tell them the truth. I came up with some excuse, saying that I couldn't make it back this week due to some work. After getting the cast on and using crutches, I had difficulty moving around. Emma insisted on staying to take care of me. After much persistent pleading, I reluctantly agreed to let her bring me my meals 3 times a day, but each time she dropped off my meal, she would linger, dragging her feet, and would take forever to leave. On Sunday afternoon, after bringing me lunch, she pulled the same stunt again. Hey, master, the living room floor seems a little dirty. Let me clean it up before I go. The robot vacuum is just too clumsy. It can't compare to a person. She then took the mop and spent almost half an hour scrubbing a small patch of floor. I urged her several times before she reluctantly put down the mop and started walking toward the door, constantly turning her head back. Emma, I called after her. I just ended a relationship, and I'm not thinking about starting another one right now. Plus, you're 5 years younger than me. As an adult, Emma's attentiveness to me was pretty obvious. I bluntly pointed it out. Stop wasting your time here. Emma stood in silence for a few seconds before replying. Your ex-girlfriend is CEO Lee, right? How do you know? Well, I've never seen a CEO so obsessed with running to the branch. Plus, the way she looks at you is so obvious. I think the other colleagues in the design department have noticed it too. I won't get back together with her. Before she could even feel happy about hearing that, I quickly added, but I also won't accept you right now. I just want to focus on my career. Emma bit her lip, looking a bit upset. You rejected me, but I'll keep pursuing. Don't worry about me. With that, she stomped out of the room in frustration. She had barely taken 2 steps when the doorbell rang. Emma opened the door, and Victoria stood on the doorstep. Chapter 19. Victoria gritted her teeth. What are you doing here? Emma looked pleased with herself. I'm here to take care of Master. Take care of Henry. Master sprained his ankle. What? Didn't he tell you he was hurt? Victoria's face turned ashen. She stepped into the house, quickly walking over to me. Henry, how did you hurt yourself so badly? How did it happen? What did the doctor say? Do you need to go to the hospital? I looked up toward the door. Emma, you can go back now. Emma saw the look in my eyes and reluctantly headed out. Before she closed the door, she threw in, Master, I'll come back later to bring you dinner. Once the door was closed, Victoria suddenly squatted down beside me, staring at my injured ankle. After a long pause, she lifted her head, her gaze filled with sadness. Henry, I'm so upset. You're injured, and you didn't tell me. In the past, whenever something happened, you'd contact me first. You've treated me like a stranger. With those words, her voice choked with emotion. It's my fault. I deserve this. These past 2 years, I've been terrible to you, completely pushing you away. Now, I think about everything I've done in these 2 years. I've been indifferent, only picking up your calls when I felt like it, reading your messages and pretending not to see them. Until recently, when you started treating me the same way, I finally understood how hurt and sad you must have felt back then. I'm so wrong. How could I have treated you like that? I used to be so determined to make you happy for the rest of your life. I sighed. It's all in the past. What's done is done. Victoria's face twisted in pain, and she buried her head in the sofa. I ruined everything. I could have been so happy. Henry, I took everything for granted. I've had it easy all my life. We've been together so long, and you've treated me so well, that I forgot how important you are to me. I thought it was me who got tired of you, that I wanted to leave and breathe some free air. We've never been apart, so I didn't realize how much I depended on you. Only when you left did I realize how much I can't live without you. Without you, every day feels boring and long. It's like I've lost interest in everything, can't get motivated, and just drift through the days. Even closing a multi-million deal in the Middle East, something that should excite me, felt meaningless without you to share it with. I think about you during the day and can't focus. I think about you at night, and I can't sleep. Countless nights, regret and torment have eaten away at me. The decision to transfer you is the thing I regret the most. Without you by my side, every day I go crazy wanting to see you. This time, when you were injured, it was another woman who took you to the hospital and stayed by your side. Do you know how jealous I am of her? Now, I don't even want to go back to City A. I'm afraid that once I leave, that Emma will take advantage of the situation. She's taking care of you when you're vulnerable. What if you start to develop feelings for her? You're so amazing. Besides Emma, I'm sure there are other people chasing you. How could I have trusted you to be alone in another city? If you were here with me, no other woman would be a threat. I'd get rid of them all. But now, with us apart, I'm constantly worried, afraid other women might start flirting with you. I really brought this upon myself. Chapter 20. Henry. Victoria suddenly lifted her head, pleading, can we get back together? Give me another chance. I don't want to keep torturing myself like this. I paused for a moment, my tone sincere. Love is a strange thing. It's not something that can be controlled by our will. If I still loved you like I used to, no matter how you treated me, I would never want to leave your side. But you know, Victoria, I don't love you anymore. Do you understand that feeling? It's that I no longer feel anything for you. I won't think of you out of the blue. I won't worry if you get hurt. I won't feel sympathy if you're tired. For me, you've become like an ordinary friend. So I can't force myself to be with someone I no longer love, even if they are just like an ordinary friend. Victoria's eyes filled with tears. Please don't say that. It feels like I'm being slowly torn apart. You don't love me anymore. Who could have imagined this day would come? Back then, I hurt you so recklessly, relying on the fact that you loved me. I was sure you couldn't live without me, that you'd never let go. Now, my punishment has come. Henry, it's right that you don't love me anymore and that you won't get back together. But I beg you, please don't fall in love with someone else so quickly. I'll do everything I can to make you love me again. I gave a pale smile. It seems like I've lost the ability to love. I'm not looking to get close to any woman right now. I just want to focus on doing my work well. Then that's good, Victoria said, relieved. I still have a chance. Chapter 21. A year later, I resigned. Why? Victoria asked. Didn't you say it yourself? The Sea City branch was the stepping stone you gave me. Since it's a stepping stone, of course, I'll use it to jump to a higher and better place. Starting my own design studio was something I had planned long ago. I don't want to work for you forever. Having my own career is much more appealing, isn't it? Besides, my family supports me going independent. My brother even gave me startup funding. I'm not blaming you for going independent, Henry. You know that. I support everything you do. I'm just a little hurt. You never talked to me about your plans for the future. It wasn't necessary, I said coldly. Victoria seemed used to this way of speaking from me and didn't get angry. My brother gave you startup funds. I'll give you some too. Starting a business is tough, especially in the beginning. The cash burn is high. No need. I rejected her coldly. Well, she hesitated. You just left the company, and Emma resigned too. Is she going to help you with the business? No. I shook my head. Although Emma had thought about it, I rejected the idea. I said, she's from a wealthy family, so money is not an issue. She's working because she wants to indulge in her dreams while she's young, but her family won't let her stay out here for long. She has to go back and take over the family business. Victoria sighed in relief. As long as she's not coming to you, that's good. Chapter 22. On the day my studio opened, many friends sent flower baskets. 2 of them were particularly eye-catching. One was filled with sunflowers, the other with daisies. My assistant asked me, "Boss, these 2 baskets look expensive. Should we put them aside separately?" No, just register them and place them with the other baskets. A few friends came in person to congratulate me, and they were potential future clients. I smiled and walked over to greet them. The sunlight shone down, and I felt a warmth in my heart.